beverage in the world, and maybe the most important. We don't just use it for refreshment or for quenching our thirst. We use it for hydration, to live. Without water, we can't live. That said, without water, we can't enjoy our lives the way we want to, the way we need to. And it's the type of water and how special that water is and what we do with it that's going to make a difference to us. We use it for hydration, but we also use it for dilution. And have you ever thought about using it to enhance your dining experience? Because that's what we're going to do today. Not dine, but talk about how we can use it to enhance our dining experience. How we use it to clean, to brighten, to refresh, to prepare us for our next bite or maybe our next sip, depending on how we can extend flavors, lengthen them texturally, how we can aromatize. Now, everybody in this room knows certainly the profits that are to be made with water. And quite frankly, I think we've almost exhausted our resources. I mean, we all know all the tricks to get water on the table, don't we? We're really, really good at that because we know how profitable water is and we know how essential it is to our check average. We have explored the myriad ways to get water on the table to our guest, and we're out of answers. We got no more to go with. Do you really think we've exhausted our resources? Because I don't. There are so many opportunities we haven't even begun to explore yet. And today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to explore. We're going to talk about how we can use water, not just to enhance dining, not just to match food and help our food matches with wine and with spirits and with cocktails be better, but we're going to talk about how we use water in tasting, how we use water to enhance our tasting, and how we can actually use water to complement wine, beer, spirits, sake, tea, coffee, all of it. And then we're going to talk about how we match all of those beverages with food and how water becomes an important part of that. We're going to go to the bar. We're going to talk about how important these waters are in our cocktails and the myriad of opportunities. Forget about the table. I think we've done a lot at the table, but we haven't even scratched the surface at the bar. It drives me insane. That opportunity for one more drink, not just alcohol. What about just getting a bottle of water next to the alcohol? The oldest concept in the world. When you serve a drink, you serve a glass of water next to it. Wouldn't it be cool to serve a great water next to it? An appropriate water next to it? A water that you've thought about as being the perfect water for that beverage that you just served. That you can even explain why it works. That you can even tell them, check it out yourself, which is all I'm going to do today. Because, I mean, those of you who know me, you know what I'm about. I'm about teaching how to taste. My whole thing, I have empowered thousands of people around the world how to taste, making it easy, making it less pretentious, how to blind taste spirits, how to blind taste wine, showing everybody how easy this really is. And you're saying right now, so what are you going to teach me how to taste water? Yeah, well, together we're going to explore this idea of tasting water and explore the idea of verbiage, technique. How can we break this down? And for everybody who does, you all taste, right? Everybody's a good taster in this room. I don't have to start there. We're going to use our wine tasting abilities, our spirits tasting abilities. You got a whole, if you would have known, let me rephrase that, you're here. If the rest of them would have known what was going to be on this placemat, we'd be packed right now, because you know what's in here? Serious juice. When I taste, and those of you who've tasted with me know this, when I'm blind tasting, I don't teach to use water in between. I don't believe in that. I believe when you're tasting, that should be the only product in your mouth. And when you're finished, the first thing you do is go to the water. Now, if I want to clean, if I want to brighten, if I want to refresh, if I want to change my palate and get ready for the next thing I'm tasting, then I go here, because I need bubbles, okay? Now, if I'm tasting something that I want to extend, that I want to lengthen, that I want to aromatize, that I want to bring forward aromatics, then I go here, because I don't want bubbles and I want total neutrality, and I want something that's light and that's soft and that's velvety, that actually extends those textures and aromatically brightens. Anybody know what the proper serving temperature is for water? Cold. If you want to get really technical, yeah, absolutely right. With mineral water like this, pana, neutral, You don't want it to be ice cold. What you also don't want to ever do is put ice in it. Unless, of course, you're making your ice out of panna. Because if you put tap water ice in this water, what have you done? Ruined it. So you serve it cold. And we'll talk more about service later. And when you put it on the table, put it in an ice bucket on the table. What you need to do is get yourself one of those clear chillers and put that out there so they can look at it and remind themselves how delicious and refreshing it is while you're drinking it. Had an espresso in Italy. What do you get next to it? One of these with a little highball glass, don't you? No matter what. You cannot drink coffee without water. They can't even imagine such a thing. Milk, that's optional. Water, essential. Okay? That's the idea. This diuretic property, when you drink coffee, it dehydrates you. It not only makes you thirsty, but your body is actually creating that thirst out of a need for more water. Refill it so it's about this full. You have just done the first step for tasting wine, beer, or spirits, and that is preparing your mouth for what you're about to evaluate. You've put water in your mouth. Now the only thing in your mouth supposedly is the water. You don't have any foreign influences. And now what I want you to do is apply your wine tasting techniques. What's the first thing you're going to do? Is you're going to look at it. And when you taste panna, what should it be? Clear. It shouldn't have any bubbles. It shouldn't have any particles. It should be clean. And if it does have particles, you started with a dirty glass. How important is that? How important is it that we hand polish our wine glasses? Do you think it's just as important for a water glass? And by the way, this is not the ideal water glass, but I wanted it to be a level playing field. The idea water glass is indeed this rounded shape, but for panna, you want a wider bowl up here. And quite frankly, you don't want stem glass. I know stem glasses are gorgeous, and I know we like them on the table and all of that, but if you're doing a bar, if you're doing a restaurant, if you're doing it from scratch, if you're starting to set up a water program, do it the right way. No stem. First of all, it drives me crazy when I have my white wine sitting out there and somebody comes by with my bottled water and pours it in there. And what really drives me crazy is when that one busboy that all they do is walk around with the water pitcher and they come and pour it into my mineral water. Because then I have to get a new bottle, and I don't really want them to have to comp it and go through all that stuff and everything, but I do not want ice and tap water in my mineral water, do I? So, by not using a stem glass and using a bowled glass, you know those tumblers that have the rounded bottoms? Those are perfect for water, and they're easily available from Libby or Cardinal or any of the glass companies, and they're cheap. And they're less breakable. And if you do water correctly, you're going to be going through so much water, you're going to need a lot of those glasses. So that's the right glass. Now, when you do this, you've looked at it, it's brilliant, it's clean, it's bright. We did make sure all the glasses were clean. Now what I want you to do is smell it like you would a wine. Gently, softly, hold it like this. It smells very neutral, as it should. But not neutral the way a vodka smells neutral. It's got a mineral-y kind of quality to it, doesn't it? Now I want you to go in a little deeper. It's almost floral. It's so light. It's so aromatic. It's totally neutral. You're thinking, this guy's insane. I'm not smelling anything in this glass but water. Good. That's exactly the way it should smell. All right, now, this time when you taste it, I want you to put just a little bit in your mouth. I want you to put it all the way into the middle of your tongue. I want you to let it fall off the sides of your tongue. I want you to move it around behind your teeth. I want you to move it behind your lips. Oh, you're laughing. You think that I'm crazy. I want you to try this. I want you to cover every single thing in your mouth with about 1.5 ounces of water, okay? And then while it's in your mouth, I want you to keep your lips closed, and I want you to breathe out through your nose.